shelves. Well, remember that we are on Facebook and we are also on Instagram. Our handle is @SME_on_point. South Africa's youth unemployment rate could be partially alleviated by helping the country's young people create their own businesses. Unemployment rate currently stands at 34.5%, having decreased by 0.8% in the first quarter of this year. The youth remain the biggest casualties of joblessness. But Dov Girnun, he's the CEO of Merchant Capital, says that young people have the energy and potential to start their own businesses, but few youth are able to sustain themselves in self-employment because they simply don't have the knowledge or resources to do so. So he's going to help us with that and how you do it. And he joins us now via Zoom. Dov, thank you so much for joining us once again on SME on Point. Take us through the 4 ways in which the youth can create their own employment and make it sustainable.
Good afternoon, yes, and thanks for having me again on the show. It's always great to be here. I think the youth have the energy, they have the ability, they have the ambition to go and be entrepreneurs and build businesses here in South Africa and really try and add to the SME problem or the lack thereof of support that SMEs get in the country. I think there's a couple of things. So first of all, one needs to have a good idea. One needs to have something where you would have a buyer, where you would have a consumer, whether it's a B2B or a business to consumer. Secondly, one needs to figure out how they're going to fund the business. So our business at Merchant Capital, we provide working capital to businesses who are looking to grow in the early stages of the businesses that wouldn't typically attract the funding from larger institutions such as banks. Thirdly, one needs a mentor, a partner, a family friend, or someone who can really help youngsters and the youth really understand what it is to build a business, because a business is not just simply written on a business plan. There are a lot of unexpected things that entrepreneurs would face that may or may not be able to be learned theoretically during a university degree or at school. So one needs a mentor, someone who's done it before, someone who has your best interests at heart, that want to support you and build the business. And lastly, one needs to find a partnership team, a team or a partner or a wife or a spouse who can actually help you in the business. The entrepreneurship journey can be very lonely. It can be an emotional roller coaster, and having someone who you can bounce ideas off and share the good and the bad times is fundamentally important to the success of any entrepreneur.
Dov, you mentioned an interesting part about mentorship and the importance thereof. When one looks for a mentor in a particular business area, what exactly should you be looking for? It's so easy for anyone to say, I want a mentor or I have a mentor, but do you know what you should be looking out for so that that mentorship, is viable for the business and for your personal growth as well as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the word mentor can be generally termed. I think one needs to be quite deliberate and specific about finding the correct mentor. A mentor should have your best interests at heart, but also be objective enough to be able to give you frank and honest advice. You just don't want a mentor to tell you that you're doing well all the time when frankly you're not. So you need someone who can be objective, who can be honest, who can be transparent. Naturally, you would want a mentor in a business field that has been successful. So if you are looking to open up a grocery store, as an example, then it would be convenient and useful to have someone who has built a business in retail. So I think sector-specific is important. Someone who has your best interests at heart but can be objective, and someone who actually enjoys where it's a win-win. It needs to be a mutual value proposition for the mentor and mentoree.
Dov, thank you so much for your time, and that's a wrap for SME on Point. Remember to support small businesses in your communities and keep those rands and cents circulating. That's a wrap for the second hour of On Point. We're back again on the next hour, the third hour, with more news.